Welcome back to the Highwire Garage. Alright, so first things first, I want to go over a couple things to do with the engine and everything, and just go over and just take a quick glance at everything just to see what else we have that's basically connected to the frame, the body, the control system, suspension, whatever, because as far as I can tell, I got most of the components removed, and I believe I should be able to remove the transmission soon with the engine all at once. So basically, I know I have to remove the drive shaft still. I know there's going to be some stuff we'll check after this underneath the car, but let's look in the engine bay first and see what we have left. Alright, so now looking at the driver's side, basically, I think everything is disconnected except we took this off. I think this was connected to something to do with the emissions box, the little brown or little black box that we had sitting over here. So this is connected to the exhaust. Now the downpipes coming from the exhaust, those have to be disconnected still and taken out. The drive shaft has to be disconnected still. But for this side of the car, this side of the engine bay, everything else looks basically clear. This is for the brake system. I think that's called the brake master cylinder or something. So that's going to wind up just staying in there until after we pull the engine. Hopefully I don't have to mess with that. I could just take that out after the fact once I have some more room to get in there and work. Now looking at the front side of the engine, it looks pretty clear. There's just some vacuum lines, some tubes just hanging out the front that are just going to have to get thrown on top of the block, but everything looks basically clear. Like I said a couple videos back, the front end is basically stripped of everything. There's nothing to it. So I think there's like 4 more bolts holding on like this front bumper piece, and then it could all just come apart. So that's basically clear, which is awesome. Hopefully we don't have to remove anything when we're pulling the engine out itself. I think you jack it up and it comes out almost like a J shape. You don't have to remove like the whole front end, because I think pulling engines on these cars are supposed to be fairly easy. Next, we're on the passenger side, and from what I believe, all we have left over here is a couple lines for power steering. So now we disconnected the power steering reservoir that was over here. We did not disconnect any of these lines for the power steering that look like they go down into like the control arms. If you could see all the way down in there, there's a little bit of a mess of tubes down there. So we're gonna have to follow some of those back, but there's a couple electrical lines over here that are hooked up to the transmission that's still hooked up to the original wire harness we disconnected. And then I think a lot of these other lines, like I think this is a brake line. I honestly think this is a brake line. I think they all just lead back to brakes, to be honest. So the rest might not really need to be screwed with. I know you have two, I don't know if these are just cables, just hoses, or yeah, they look like just hoses that could be disconnected going through the firewall. So we could disconnect those. And we're probably going to have to remove whatever this is. This might be a fuel filter. I believe it is. If I follow these lines that go underneath, I think they go back to where we just remove a fuel tank. So if this is just a fuel filter going up to where the throttle body is and stuff, we can just remove that as well. And that can come off with the whole engine itself. So when we remove the drive shaft from the differential, part of it lowered, but it's still connected by a couple other spots. So there's two 17mm bolts up here, and then it's connected to the transmission itself by some 17mm bolts as well. The good thing about this is you should be able to rotate it now comfortably and work on all the bolts. As before, we had to actually lift the car up and rotate the tires because I don't have it jacked up on the rail on the side of the car like the frame. I have the tires themselves jacked up. So remove these bolts and we'll get this drive shaft out of there. So now I'm actually going to remove not these two 17mm, but I'm going to remove it from the transmission itself first, because if I do that, this is going to drop and then it's going to be at a weird angle to work on. So might as well loosen this first. And we're off. Oh, it stinks. Ugh. Alright, so after having the drive shaft removed, which is awesome, that's where the shifter goes up, we're coming over to here where the exhaust is held on. There's just going to be a hanger. It's four, it looks like 12mm bolts that are connected underneath the transmission. So we'll move that little hanger and then we'll continue our way down and try to remove the rest of the exhaust. Okay, next I'm showing you guys from the top because it's not very good to show you from the bottom. You can't really see it. But basically where I was telling you before this silver pipe goes down, it does connect to where the exhaust connects to the head. So there's 3 bolts under there. They look like 14mm. So we're going to have to get a deep extension from the bottom and try to get all 3 bolts out, drop it, and we should be able to squeeze this right through when we drop it. So as you can tell from the struggling, that's not coming off. I'm actually going to be replacing the downpipe anyways, but again, I hate having to cut shit off because you never know if you could reuse it for something. Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to cut it off because I don't think those bolts are going to come out. And then we'll have to try to get the bolts out once we actually remove the whole motor. So I'm not actually going to cut that off yet. I'm going to keep spraying those bolts and just let them sit because I'm in no rush to get that off at the moment. So I might as well just spray it and keep trying to do it because like I said, I hate cutting shit off the car. So I'm going to spray those bolts again. I'm going to actually see if they have something better than WD-40 at the store. And we'll leave that for now. But we're going to see if we can probably drain the transmission and maybe can disconnect a couple of these wires that are connected to the transmission. Next, we are right where we disconnected the transmission to the drive shaft. We have a couple lines going. There's one that goes to this round cylinder. It looks like it's the one with a different type of jacket to it. Then you have a couple connectors up here that go off to the, you have 1, 2, 3, and they all go up into the electrical harness up there, so we'll follow that. And you also have this thing right here, which looks like maybe power steering fluid. And let's see, yeah. So we might be able to disconnect it right here going into the side. We might be able to disconnect that, or maybe we'll have to disconnect the line up here. But that should be it for stuff that's connected to the transmission. Only looks like 3 or 4 connections. Not too bad. So the line that comes up, that's connected to the side of the transmission, comes up all the way over here, and it goes to the other side by the driver's side, and it connects to this right here. I don't know if this is transmission fluid. I don't think so, but this line is for something. And I think if I remove that right now, I'm gonna get a bunch of fluid, so I guess I'll try to drain the transmission first before I try to remove this line off the side of the transmission. So I guess plan on getting a little messy on this part, guys, because I think it's gonna get messy. So basically use a 1/2-inch drive, fits in there, and you should be able to open it and drain the tranny fluid. Looks like I might have to clean my thing out a little bit. Hold on. Alright, so not too happy today. As you can tell, that is not going to open. That's not going to budge at the moment. I don't know if I'm just tired and weak and can't do it, but I'll spray the bolt some more. I'll spray the, whatever that thing is, the little nut thingy some more. And we'll try to get it off another day because that's not coming apart. A lot of disappointment today. Not too happy. We ran into multiple bolts, multiple things that I can't, take apart, like the exhaust. Transmission fluid I can't get out now, stuff like that. So that's a pain in the ass, but we'll spray it, and hopefully after a couple days it'll get unlocked and we could hopefully free all that stuff up and drain it and take it apart. Hope for the best. Last thing I'm going to do in this video though is I'm going to remove the clutch itself. It's in the interior of the car. So right here you have the 4 10mm bolts holding it on, and then underneath that there should be a snap ring that you just take out, and the clutch should pop right out. Clutch is removed. That's going to be it for today. We ran into a lot of roadblocks today. Lots of stuck bolts, lots of shit, but we'll hit it hard again soon. I'm going to continue trying to get those bolts out. I'm going to continue to spray them. Now that the clutch is out, there's really not much left until we want to pull this tranny and motor. I believe there's some motor mounts and a couple hoses left that are probably in our way, but other than that, we are all set. So again, thank you guys for watching the Hi-Wire Garage 240SX rebuild. Please comment, subscribe, like the video. Any tips, suggestions, anything, hit me in the comments. I'll be sure to answer you back. And thanks for watching. You know the use. Peace out.